My name's Rolando Morgan, and I've written 2 papers that are on the Brixton Seventh-day Adventist website. Now, these relate to debt and the Sabbath rest. The 2 papers are entitled Mathematical Economics, Debt and the Sabbath Rest, and the other is Symmetry, Invariance and the Circular Geometry of Debt as an explanation of biblical economic laws. So I just want to take you through a bit about the motivation, my motivation for why I wrote these papers, a bit about the approach I took and somewhat about the detail. So in terms of the motivation, what I want to show is that one can appreciate biblical economic laws, as I call them, from an analytical perspective. Also, I want to show that if one takes a scientific approach to economics, it leads one back to the Bible. Now, who's this written for? It's for people who are maybe academically minded or those who may doubt that the Bible can stand up in the face of science. So, a bit about kind of the broad approach that I've taken. Well, you see, mathematics and economics are quite related. In particular, when people do economic models, they have a lot of mathematics in them. So I've taken that approach and I've used in particular geometry and symmetry. So what I've tried to do is take economic laws that have economic laws from the Bible. By that I mean laws that have some relation to economics, working, buying and selling, lending and borrowing. And I want to show that you can appreciate them mathematically. So what are those laws? In particular the Sabbath, because it says that you work for 6 days and buy and sell for 6 days and then have a day of rest. Also, there are other laws related to having a debt cycle whereby lending and borrowing can happen over a continuous 7-year period and then a break and then start again. So I kind of put these together and show that you can kind of come at it from a different angle. So a bit about kind of the detail of the approach. So a lot of economic models as they stand, or the ones that are produced normally, are kind of functional in their approach. They look at different parts of society such as consumers, producers and government. Instead, I've taken the lead from Genesis where I've looked at demarcating the economy between 2 groups, lenders and borrowers. I then look at the symmetry between those groups. By that I mean every debt has a credit and every credit has a debt of equal size in absolute sense. I then build from there. What I want to show is that what the biblical economics laws show and how they interact can be got to from a mathematical perspective. So what do I mean by that? Well, the Bible says you should buy and sell for 6 days and rest 1. So over 7 years, you've effectively bought and sold for 6 of those 7 years. You kind of scale upwards. In contrast, you've lent and borrowed over 7 continuous years according to the other law that I mentioned. Put those together, you have a ratio of 6 to 7 between buying and selling, which happens 6/7 of the time, and lending and borrowing that happens over a continual 7-year period. And essentially in these papers I come at it from different angles but show that you can reach that same ratio from different perspectives. So hopefully you'll read the papers or have a peruse of them, have a little look, and it'll be useful and encourage your faith. Thank you.